What's up, guys? We got a top 8 finisher. Well, you guys may know this guy, but this is the first time he's ever done a deck profile in person. And his name is, what is your name?
Fitz.
Hey, Fitz. Yeah, so this is the guy that's been doing has his really original build of dragons. Everybody calls it aggro dragons. How do you feel about that?
I don't think it's too appropriate of a name. It's more like a mid-rangey control type of dragons, I would say, if anything. Not really much aggro going on. That being said, I don't really have a specific name that I want to call it in general. I know some of my teammates on Crow's Nest just call it Fitz Dragons. That's an approved name by me, if you ask me. But
Okay, so from henceforth, for this deck profile, we're going to call his aggro dragons Fitz Dragons. Get it, guys?
Works for me.
Okay, so he got a top 8, and he won his, 25th collection. 2 of them.
Yes, sir.
At the, what is it called? The Perfect Rares and Sleeveless Incorporated. Sorry if I butchered your guys' name. So, yeah, so how do you feel?
Rare and Sleeveless.
Yeah, Rare and Sleeveless. Yeah, that's the name of it. So how do you feel right now going top 8? And what were your matchups today?
So I feel really good. I've only recently gotten into playing in paper. Like the last few months or so, I was playing on mainly Dueling Book before that, and I hadn't fared too well at in-person events before. This is my first time topping something like this, so it feels awesome to get the first paper event top under the belt. And for the round-by-round matchups, round 1 was up against Hero Beat. One of my better matchups. There's some stuff in the deck that really helps trade favorably through their back row and absolute zeros and stuff. And it was a super grindy game. I ended up 2-0ing him, but it was super close the whole time. If he ripped a miracle at the right time, I would have been toast. But thankfully got through that. Then round 2, was that? Yeah, round 2 is when my one loss in Swiss. It was against Light Sworn. It was Christia Sworn, but a weird build with playing magical merchants and multiple wolves. Seemed like a bit bricky to me. Game 1 I won pretty handily. He seemed pretty bricked, but then games 2 and 3 he was just recharging, milling wolves and dropping JD. He's just doing Light Sworn stuff and ended up taking the L there. Round 3 was against. What was round 3 against?
Frogs?
It might have been. Damn.
That's okay. We can skip that. What about just name the rounds that you remember?
Yeah, I don't know why I'm blanking on round 3, but round 4 was Frogs. Frog Hero specifically.
Creature Smiths.
Oh, sorry. Round 3 was against Value Turbo.
There you go.
I won that 2-1, lost game 1, barely won game 2, and then won game 3 pretty convincingly.
I see.
And then, yeah, round 4 was against Frog Hero. Again, won 2-1, really close back and forth game. I was very fortunate to come out on top there. And then my last round opponent was Diva Hero, where I kind of sacked the crap out of him, to be honest. Just drew Brain Control and Heavy Storm at the right times. Really fun match that one was, but ended up just having the one-ofs to just break his board and kill him. Ended up winning that one 2-0 to make top cut.
Nice.
And ended up losing round 1 in top cut to the same Frog opponent that I played in Swiss.
He
got me on the clap back, but it was a very fun tournament. Smoothly ran, had a lot of fun, and happy with how I played and how the deck performed. So happy to get into it.
Awesome. Looks like you had a really good game plan throughout the whole meta, despite the fact that the meta can be a little bit diverse sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so you want to go into your deck profile?
Yeah, sure thing.
Your paper deck profile.
So this is my latest version of Fitz Dragons, Trap Dragons, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
So let's start with the Red Eyes package, or the Dragons package overall, but let's start with the Red Eyes cards. So I'm playing 2 Red Eyes Darkness Metal with the 3 Wyvern.
Okay.
So the reason being for only 2 Red Eyes Darkness Metal, a lot of people ask me, why wouldn't you just play 3? It's just because a lot of the dragons in Edison aren't very good. So actually playing enough of them to support enough dragons to both revive and keep in play to special summon this out of hand is kind of difficult. So with this version I only ended on 10 dragons with only 6 that I could actually normal summon to get them out of hand. So I felt 3, albeit sometimes it's really good, but it's not really the main focus to special summon this from your hand. You kind of want to be milling it or sending out Future Fusion. So I felt 2 is the right ratio of I didn't brick on it too often, but still had enough firepower. Okay. So that's kind of my thinking there. And then I play the quote utility dragons of 1 Drago and 1 Prime Material. These ideally you want to just dump off a Future Fusion, eventually revive them with Red Eyes. Drago in the right matchups can carry. Same with Prime Material. This card's crazy when you're reviving it with Red Eyes and you have a big board that's immune to destruction. I can't It's a brick to draw. This is kind of like my Spine Gilman.
Yeah.
You really just want to be sending off Future Fusion, but if you draw, it's not the end of the world. You can special summon out of hand or tribute summon it or whatever. But I think it's just too good into too many board states to have access to it. Protect yourself from destruction, like Torrential, Mirror Force, Absolute Zero, all that.
Absolute Zero.
Then the last of the dragons, I play the 3 Debris Dragon.
The must.
Like I said, the dragons are actually good in Edison, are few and far between. Debris is like about as good as you can get. One card synchro summon, whether it's like for Black Rose Dragon or Iron Chain, just a normal summon 2500 beat stick. That's pretty powerful by Edison standards, and also lets you, put a dragon in play. You can banish it, or the synchro for Red Eyes.
Nice.
Start popping off. And then that's it for the dragons. And then for the Debris Dragon targets, we play, for the level 3s, we play the Trooper and the Spirit Reaper, signed by 10FD. Shout out that guy,
go.
legend of the game. Card Trooper is by far the best one. I wish I could open this like all the time. It's like so good on its own, and then when you're reviving it with Debris, you can still pay the cost to mill with it, so you have extra shots at milling Wyverns, which are just pluses in this deck. As well as like if you revive back the Trooper and then you banish your Debris Dragon for Red Eyes, and then revive with Red Eyes, all of a sudden like you get your Red Eyes in play, and then this still gives you a draw when it dies. So you get to get your Red Eyes in play while also going plus, which is super nice. And then Spirit Reaper is like the second best level 3 target. It on its own can be really good installing for defense, or if you like connect with a card rip, you can just kind of win games that way. So those are the 2 level 3s I played, and then the other ones I played, triple Raikou and 1 Hamster, for basically like, the Hamster gets you to Raikou. That's another 4 level 2 Debris target. Lets you go into Iron Chain Dragon, as well as it's like Vayu-esque, this deck. You want your Raikous trading with back row while also milling you to give you shots at milling your Wyverns and Red Eyes, which are kind of like your Vayus and Sirokkos of this version of the deck. You can go plus off the mills if you don't draw your Future Fusion, which is like a nice backup plan, as well as get rid of all those pesky back rows or Absolute Zeros or whatever problem cards you need to like you actually start letting you do your dragon things. And then for this list, this is new. This is not in the list I played when I topped back in whenever the Deck Devastators event was, but I'm trying out the Plague Spreader Zombie now.
Oh, okay.
Again, it is a technically Debris Dragon target, so like if you already have a monster in play, Hamster or Raikou, you can summon Debris, bring back the Plague, and like synchro with your extra body that way, or like bring it back and then like stack or whatever. It's like not the best to draw. The main appeal for it is to enable a card we'll get to later in the profile, but Plague was pretty solid. And then for the last of the monsters, we play my like pseudo boss monsters, I guess. I'm on 1 Caius, Chaos Sorcerer, and Gores.
Wow, okay.
So the reason for 1 Caius is, obviously Caius is a great card. You're like, why wouldn't you play 2 or 3? I already played Prime Material Dragon, and like a lot of decks play like 2 Caius, like for 2 total tribute monsters as like a ratio they enjoy for having access to it, but not bricking on it. You need a monster already in play, which can be tough for this deck at times, especially when you're behind tempo. So I ended up opting with the 1 Caius, 1 Prime Material for 2 total tribute summon monsters, because like Caius is busted, and if you can play it, you should. And then Chaos Sorcerer, I play like 5 darks and essentially 5 lights, but triple Raikou, Prime Material, and Hamster gets you to Raikou for the Chaos Sorcerer. As like an extra like mini boss monster. Ideally, like you don't necessarily want to be like banishing your Raikous or Red Eyes because they're Debris Dragon targets, or you want to be reviving with Red Med, but as a finisher, it can be really good and doesn't usually normal summon, so you can like summon it, banish a card, and then still do end phase Wyvern, which is really cool. And then another plus is it enables another card we'll get to later in the profile, but it was pretty good. I will say I sided this out basically all day because I'm already like towing the line with like the total amounts of lights and darks I'm playing. So like it can be dead early, and then there's a lot more that can go wrong post board, whether it's like DD Crow on my stuff, or like Noblemen on my Raikous where they're not hitting the graveyard, or like Dyna or Oppression. Like there's a lot more ways it could be dead post board, so I usually took it out.
Smart.
And then Gores, because he's Gores, and simplified game states, like there's like nothing else you really want to draw. And then for the spells, the best card in the deck, the reason to play the dragons, Future Fusion, as well as the Let's Find Future Fusion as fast as possible package of 3 Upstart Goblin and 2 Gold Sark.
Okay.
So, Future Fusion obviously crazy in this deck. It's crazy in most decks, but like the fact this is like a +2 or +3 at its surface level when you're dumping wyverns and reviving red eyes.
Yeah.
If they can't clear the red eyes, then it unravels for the opponent when you can just like summon a bunch of guys, go for game.
Got it.
And it's the card that I would say like if this didn't exist, I wouldn't really see the appeal of playing dragons. This is how you compete with other top decks. That's your unfair like win con button.
Yeah.
So I think like playing these to just maximize the odds of finding it early and often, I think are what you got to do if you're playing a dragon with trap type of deck.
I see.
And then for the rest of the spells, we just play like the good one-ofs of heavy MST brain control. Nothing too crazy there.
Okay.
And then for the traps...
Oh, there's traps.
There are traps. So we have the limited ones of Mirror Force, Dust Shoot, and Solemn. One thing, so I don't think these need too much explanation. I was playing Torrential for a long time, and actually like recently cut it before this event, because I was just finding myself in too many game states where you want to like set a Raikou or like end phase bring back a Red Eyes. And I just like wish I had any other trap behind it than the Torrential.
I see.
Like it was only on like specifically open boards when I'm like really behind tempo or with like a trooper in play that I wanted it. But ended up deciding to go with like a back row lineup that is more so like protects my monsters as opposed to blowing them up. So I ended up moving the Torrential to the side because I do really want it for like frogs. But in general, I felt it was like being awkward a little too often for my liking. Played it 2 bottomless, good card, best card you can draw against Blackwings. And then for other defensive traps, I play 1 Compulse, 1 Prison, just for some diversity. You could play 2 Prison or 2 Compulse, honestly. Depends on what you're expecting. Compulse is better against like Diva Hero, Zombie, Vayu type stuff. Prison better against like Blackwings, but opted to go with 1 of each. There's cool stuff you can do with compulsory, like dodging removal on your red eyes, dodging brain control, that sort of thing, as well as like using it to bounce an absolute 0 or Stardust Dragon's really good. So
yeah, versatile.
I like it a lot. Opted for the 2 main deck Dust Tornadoes because I just wanted it, as many ways as possible to make sure that my Future Fusion is resolving or like my big push is resolving. Snipe those MSTs, Solemns, Oppressions, or whatever else can like. When I'm sarking for the Future Fusion, I want to like have one of these down too to like try to snipe their back row, something that can stop me from resolving. Essentially, my most powerful card.
Yes.
So, you run the risk of like running into frogs or Lightsworn or something that don't play much back row, but like even against those, you can still like end phase snipe Regeki Breaks or Beckoning Lights or something sometimes. So it's not the worst, but I decided to play 2, expecting more trap card decks than not, to help force through the Future Fusion and Red Eye stuff. Probably honestly the second best card in the deck, maybe third best. This card's really freaking good in Dragons. After you've gotten your grave set up, if you can call a Haunted on Red Eyes revive like a prime material. That's just 5,200 damage immediately.
Off a trap.
Off a trap, you go +1 in the process. You haven't even used your normal summon yet. Like, if you can like stick that late game, it's oftentimes like the straw that breaks the camel's back of my opponents. And speaking of, I alluded to this earlier, but this is also a new technology that
there you go.
I tried as of like a couple weeks ago. I started messing around with this, and that was a big appeal of playing the Plague and the Sorcerer, was more stuff that enabled this.
Right.
Because Plague, when you stack, banishes itself. Sork can also can banish a light and your red eyes, which you can then return back and then like use red eyes effects to like assemble an OTK board.
Got it. And
this card was absolutely crazy for me today. Like it was crazy in testing. It was crazy for me today. I was like never upset to draw this ever.
I see.
It's in archetype. You just banish your wyverns and you can bring them back to like sack for Caius. Banish your red eyes in hand, or if you like have like a couple wyverns banished and you stack for Plague, all of a sudden that's banished. You bring them back, synchro with the wyvern and the Plague for like a Brio or something, OTK that way.
Yeah.
The lines get pretty crazy, but yeah, good card. I don't know if you guys
give it a try, guys.
Yeah, I can't imagine playing this version of Dragons without it moving forward. It was awesome. It just won me games where I was like either behind or even and just flipped it, and that was that. Yeah. And then what do you want to do for side or extra?
I just saw some questions about your main deck. So
sure
have you thought about playing Burial from Different Dimension to be able to do the Vayu-esque strategy, or is it too gimmicky in this deck?
I have. The issue, I've tested it before. Issue is it's only really good after you've resolved Future Fusion or like super late game when like you need to have like multiple wyverns banished and like red eyes in circulation for it to get value, and like at that point, yeah, it's like really good.
Yeah.
But I think this card is just better for a late game finisher of like,
That's true.
you know, I wanna win that turn super late game, as opposed to like burial, which like summons them back in my end phase, gives my opponent another chance at clearing them.
Yeah.
I just felt it was too slow, and if I'm gonna play a slow card, I ended up opting with like going the return route for just some extra firepower.
Yeah, it makes it more aggro,
Yeah.
aggro dragon. I'm sorry.
That does make it a little more aggro.
Yeah. Okay.
I opted for return over burial basically after some testing, and was happy with that decision.
Yeah, it seems like you put a lot of thought in your deck, which is really nice. You want to go into your extra deck?
Yeah, sure thing.
Okay.
So the extra deck is for fusions. We play the Chimera Tech and the 5-headed dragon. Obviously, you reveal that off Future Fusion. Dump all your dragons. Go plus a bajillion. Good card. And then for synchros, I used to not play like a lot of the generic stuff because I only played Debris Dragon in the past. With Plague Spreader, we now have access to the generic synchros. So play an Armory Arm, which is like Raikou plus Plague. Play a Cataster, you can get that with Trooper or Reaper plus Plague.
Yeah.
The 6s, Brio and Goyo, because they're like the best ones in Edison.
Yeah.
And then for dragon stuff, I play 2 Iron Chain. The second one does come up because sometimes you just open like Raikou plus 2 Debris, and you just need to make 2 2500 beat sticks with them.
And they're dragons.
And they're dragons, yeah. So Debris can only synchro into dragons. So, someone revive Raikou, make 2500 beat stick. It's fine.
By chance, have you ever revived these guys off the red bed?
I have actually.
Yeah.
And one other thing is it is a level 6 dragon, so it can just be revived as a 2500 beat stick, which I did do today against like the Frog Heroes to beat over Monarch.
Yeah.
But it's also the level 6 dragon, which can let you do some cool stuff with a card we'll get to later in the extra.
Okay.
For more dragon stuff, we play Black Rose and Ancient Fairy. You make Debris plus level 3 for these, pretty self-explanatory. Black Rose, obviously, when you're behind, you can just one card, Black Rose with Debris, swing the game back in your favor, pretty big deal. Ancient Fairy is just kind of like the next best, or the only other level 7.
Big booty.
Has a big booty. Then we have Stardust, Red Dragon Archfiend, and Dark End Dragon for more. And then you guys also throw in Colossal Fighter as the other level 8. So these you can make with Debris. If you already have a Raikou on the field and you Debris bring back Raikou, you sync with everything.
Yeah.
Make these guys. This guy you can make with like Plague plus Sork or Caius, as well as like, that's basically how you make it. And then you can also revive him off Red Eyes, which is kind of cool if you ever get to that point. And then Colossal, sometimes you just need him to be big and annoying.
Yeah.
So, and the last card you play is Trident Dragon.
Boom.
So that's what I was mentioning earlier with the Iron Chain being level 6. So you can make this guy the Dragon Tuner and then one or more Dragon non-tuners. So if you have a Debris in play, either normal summon or revive off Red Eyes, you sync with that and the Iron Chain, or Debris plus Prime Material are the 2 ways you make this. For either just a 3000 beat stick, or its effect is you can pop pop with the 2 cards you control, and then for that battle phase, it gets an extra attack for each card you popped.
Yeah.
So like if you're sticking big boards and like assembling your dragon army, this is kind of like the finisher you go into, where you like get a couple revives, go into this guy, pop some stuff, and then just swing for game through like basically everything.
Did you win a game with this guy by chance?
I did, yeah. I didn't need to make him the game I did, but I did anyway.
Style points.
Because it would have, the point was it would have been lethal through Gores, because I got this guy extra attacks, so like I could attack over something, then attack directly with Red Eyes, and if they had the Gores, they would have needed to drop it there, then I would have been able to like beat over the Gores and the token. But
I see.
And sometimes it just being 3K matters as well. If they like have something like a Titanium on board, you can just go into this and beat over it.
The token, if it was in attack mode, it would be able to. You'll be able to kill the token in attack mode, right?
For Gores, yeah.
Yeah, for Gores, yeah.
Or if like if I'm attacking directly with something else, then try and drag just beat over the token and the Gores, since it would be bigger than both in those scenarios.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And then, so that's the extra. And then for the side deck,
check it out.
The side deck is kind of all over the place with like one of a lot of different things, but it was tough to like fit everything I wanted in here, so I ended up just kind of going with something like this. So I side a second Drago. Reason I don't, or you know, like I said, in certain matchups this card goes crazy. So like having an extra one to side in against like fairies, zombies, light sworn, Vayu turbo.
Yeah.
You know, decks where like this card is really annoying for them to deal with, and just because I win the game on its own, you want it there. The reason I don't side as a third is just because the monster lineup is so super tight that if I'm bringing, I don't think you should be playing like extra, like too many normal summons. That's how you get the worst hands. And also like to use Wyvern effects, you can't normal summon or set that turn.
Yeah.
So like having like multiple monsters you need to normal summon, as well as like Wyvern and Graveyard, gets you in like really awkward situations where you can't actually play your cards.
Got it.
It's like finding enough monsters to take out to put in extra Dragos. I like felt in practice I wasn't actually like finding the room for it, so I ended up just siding the one extra for like 2 post board against the good matchups. Side Snowman, it's good against like Hero Beat and Blackwing. Can replace like the Spirit Reaper or something for this, and it's also a Debris Dragon target. So you know, good at just kind of stalling and trading well there. And then I also side one Fossil Dyna, and that's it for the monsters.
Okay.
This is mostly for frogs or like Dragon Turbo or other special summon heavy strategies. You know,
Yeah, break the dupe block.
Yeah, can break dupe block or kill an absolute zero. You know, it's a good card. Again, reason I only side one is because I just found myself in practice having trouble finding enough monsters to take out to put in stun cards like that, but I do have the ones. For spells, I side the Mind Control. It's for other Hamster Raikou decks. You take their Hamster or Raikou, you know, flip it, pop something, and then either summon a Debris or Plague Spreader to sync it off. It's like really good versus like Lightsworn specifically too. Another interaction is like you can mind control their Judgment Dragon if they summoned it, didn't kill you, and then you can like banish it. You can use its effect and then like banish it to summon your Red Eyes.
That's nice.
Against Vayu Turbo, like similar things. Like you can take, it's for the Hamsters and Raikous, but like if they synchro into Stardust or if they drop Dad and don't kill you, you can mind control it, banish it. Just crazy card. And then I also sided one My Body. It's basically against like Blackwings or Lightsworn. It's kind of a second Starlight Road in a way, but one that doesn't get negated by Decree or by Royal Oppression. So that's nice, as well as has other uses like stopping stuff that only destroys one stuff, like Bottomless, or if like I have Red Eyes on field and activated effect, they flip Oppression, I can like My Body there to protect the Red Eyes.
Yeah.
Really good versus Hero Beat too. If they try to spark my monster, you use this. You trade this card for a spark and their alias, so you go +1.
Yeah.
So yeah, just had that for that type of stuff. And then for the traps, the only card I play 3 of in the side deck are the 3 Pulling the Rugs, because frogs are a bit of a menace for this deck. Like they just have way too many tools to answer your big Red Eyes boards easily, whether it be like with Econ or Monarchs or whatever else. So like as well as like you play Raikous, so like if those get Monarched, it's also pretty bad, sets you back. You don't get your mills, you don't get your Debris Dragon set up, so stopping that early and often really important.
Got it.
And then I also played one Mask of Restrict, again, just for frogs. But this card is actually the one that won me my games 2 and 3 against the frog player in Swiss. It was actually like really, really good. I basically just wanted it kind of as like a 4th rug in a way, like something that just like you flip up and stop a Monarch, but also has other like interactions where you can chain it to like Soul Exchange, for instance. You can chain this, and all of a sudden they can't like tribute the thing that they targeted. They go -1 in the process. Like something that came up in tournament was I had a Drago on the field. The guy goes summon Substitute, no priority. I said okay, and he goes activate Brain Control, target my Drago, and intending to like tribute it off for his Substitute, going to dupe block whatever. I chain Massive Restrict and ends up just having to like give me back the Drago with a Substitute and attack. So I attacked over it and just like went really plus off of that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just really good for extra frog hate, basically, because I think you kind of need it. And then the rest of the traps are just one-ofs. I side a 3rd Dust Tornado, bring this in against like Blackwings or Vayus, where I want to have extra outs to Oppression's the big one, but just like dealing with background general is good. Side a 2nd Compulsory. Really good versus like the instant fusion zombie variant that's running around. Really good against Vayu Turbo. Really good against DB Hero, against all those that came in. Side a 2nd D-Prison, mostly for I really like it versus Blackwings. Like I side out stuff like Sork for stuff like this. Basically, just play a lower to level ground. Like have removal for their stuff. it's also I also bring this in against like frogs or anything. I'm expecting like stun monsters to come in, like Vanity's Fiend, Fossil Dyna,
Yeah.
type stuff. It's like having an extra out you can draw into.
Unifrog.
Yeah, and honestly, this is better than. So a lot of people think bottomless is better against frogs and deep prison. I disagree, because most good frog players, when you have a monster on board in a back row, they're not monarching the back row because they don't want to get punished by like chain bottomless or chain Book of Moon or something.
Yeah.
They're always targeting the monster, so like it doesn't really lose out to that interaction too much, which people fixate on. And it's also just something you can draw into when you're staring down like a Monarch or Vanity's Fiend or Absolute Zero beating your face in, whereas bottomless you need it proactively set, as well as like you said, stops Unifrog versus like it just eats bottomless for free.
Yeah.
So actually, like, I drop a bottomless for a deep prison post board against frogs as well.
Interesting. Okay.
Now that people know that, they might start monarching my back row a little more often. Maybe we have to
I don't
switch
think
back
so.
to the
I don't think
bottomless.
so. No way. No way.
Yeah.
That's too meta.
Also side Starlight Road for stuff like Lightsworn and Blackwing. You know, having that card in there that can just kind of get you a blowout wing is really nice. Side Mind Crush, mostly for Dragon Turbo. This is like the best card against, because you can just like call their red eyes after they've like done their thing or telegraph it. But I also like it against I like it against like anything where there's like Honest or Colute and they telegraph it. You can like call those, really mess them up, as well as like against Lightsworn. I also bring this in because they Beckoning Light their stuff back, and then you can like call the Judgment Dragon or whatever they add back off that, which is a really nice interaction. So I like Mind Crush in general. And then, like I said earlier, I moved the Torrential to the side.
Okay.
Mostly for frogs or like going second against like or anything that can like spam the board, like Blackwings or Lightsworn. I was bringing this in against too. Especially going second. I wanted it when I'm behind tempo, but yeah, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, you put a lot of thought into this deck, which is really cool and definitely an interesting deck that's unique. And so yeah, it was a pleasure having you, Fitz, for your deck profile, and I'm honored to have be the guy who does that deck profile for you.
Yeah, no problem. It's yeah, today was a lot of fun. I'm happy with how I played, happy with how the deck performed, and I appreciate you having me on for a profile.
Before we end this, do you want to have any more changes moving forward, or are you just 100% satisfied with every deck choice?
I wouldn't say like the side deck is definitely a bunch of moving parts. I could see certain cards coming in or out.
Yeah.
You know, but overall, I think it performed pretty well, and like a lot of these cards are pretty new. So like the Sorg Plague Return stuff, like I only started testing that a week or two ago. And like Return itself was awesome. Plague and Sork were like on their own, but like they enable it, so like that's kind of the appeal for it.
Yeah.
You know, I think the trap lineup could always use some tinkering. Like I said, like you can make certain meta calls with any Deep Prison or Compulse or Book of Moon or whatever else you want to play. Like it's all like relative to the meta, but I think the core is like pretty good. It performed really well for me today.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that I got my top. Wish I would have made it a little farther in top cut, but
yeah.
You know, I'm pretty happy. Nothing like super obvious about anything I'd change.
All right, cool. All right, hopefully I see you more in bigger events as well. RBET, I'm assuming, in the future.
Oh yeah, I'll be. You know, I think they're doing another one at Moreno Valley, so that's a drive for me. I'll for sure be doing that one, and then I'll probably make it to like one or two others of those, as well as like keep playing online when I can too. So yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you for the deck profile, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you.
Peace.